want to ask you something because you talked about how at a time we would have the media would probably be holding somebody like Ben Simmons accountable, or coaches would say things about their players in the media. Do you think the media, because maybe we're not focusing on that enough about him not shooting, do you think the media, the NBA media at all, is maybe has softened a bit,
yes.
Howard?
Yes.
You think they have?
You think they're
yes.
trying to protect relationships?
Do you think they're protecting?
Apologies to everybody, including myself, because I'm going to throw myself into this. Yeah, I think we've all gotten soft.
Do you think they're trying
softer anyway?
Brian kind of brought that up. Do you think it's to protect relationships with players and teams? Does that and how do you think that affects the reporting?
Because I've seen this on Twitter where people would tweet out like, super, super positive things about a team, and I'm like, wait, what are you like? What are you doing here? Are you trying to protect? You trying to protect something, or are you trying to report? Like, what's going on?
There may be some of that. There may also just be more of a sensitivity to not wanting to alienate fan bases, and we're all living in the same universe now, right? Like there used to be a distance between us and the media and the fans who we were writing for because we didn't have constant communication with them. We had very minimal communication, but we're all living in the same space now. It's called Twitter.
That's why people are softer, though.
And Instagram as well. Yeah. And so now it's the second you start in on like, well, Ben Simmons doesn't do this, or this guy doesn't do. Now you're a hater, you're this, you're that. Now all of a sudden you got to deal with this, and I think we probably are all like I'm psychoanalyzing like literally hundreds of reporters simultaneously. So it's just a stupid assumption and a stupid leap to make, but it's what I perceive. What I perceive is that because I feel this myself all the time. Occasionally, I'll be like, I'm not gonna tweet that. I don't have time for like the bullshit.
I do it too, though.
Yeah,
because it's like there's so many people just on Twitter right away, and it makes you just almost reconsider. Like,
yeah,
oh, man.
And it's probably you're reconsidering. It's probably for the good. Anyway.
It's probably for the good. I was about to say, Dexter, you're right.
Yes.
Sometimes we probably should just hold back. Like we don't need to express every last little like observation / joke / whatever. But I do think that it has probably made us all a little sensitized to the idea that especially if you criticize high-profile players, popular players, you're going to get this backlash sometimes. And players have been elevated to a level now where I feel like, especially again on Twitter, NBA Twitter is very rah-rah in general. It's very pro-player, pro-NBA, and like. I think everybody kind of gets affected by that. It just kind of it's hard not to be, and so being negative about anything in that space, I think just leaves you open to a lot of backlash and criticism, and maybe people just don't want to deal with it. I mean, you're probably not wrong, Brian. Like again, I don't want to cast aspersions on people and start reading motives. Is it about protecting relationships? Possibly. Is there a little of all of these things at work? Maybe. But I do think overall, I think we are, as a whole, NBA media softer on the league and the players now than 10, 20 years ago.
Moving to... No, I thought it was well said.
What are your thoughts on that, though? Because I want to know what you think.
I agree a lot with Howard. I don't want to cast these aspersions on everyone. But I do think a lot... I do think there is... Okay, let me say this. I do think some of it is
like when you. How should I word this tweet?
Some of it is going to be generated. No, I like to think before I talk. Right?
He's backspacing in real time.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times.
Some of this is probably generational too, right?
Yeah.
I think.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Though.
So
I think a lot of it is.
And Howard and I are the older people that have done some of this reporting, right? And I think that. We're fine with criticizing, but we're navigating our way through this social media era. And I think you should be critical of players. I think you should say the things that we're saying about Ben Simmons when we're talking about, not him personally, how it affects the game, how it affects a team. There's nothing wrong with doing that as a journalist.
But then players take it personally.
Yeah, but I have to say, screw them in that.
I agree, but then what happens is the player takes it personally, and then everybody gets on the media.
Okay, but here's the thing. I want to defend the media on this. If Howard writes something and somebody doesn't like it, right? He's open for criticism every time he publishes an article. Every time Bleacher Report publishes a feature that he does, he's open for criticism. I could say, I don't like Howard Beck. He sucks. I don't like the full 48. People probably put crazy stuff in the comments that you see, whatever. as somebody who does anything in the public, you're open for criticism. That's what it is, whether you're an NBA player, whether you're a journalist. So it has to work both ways. Howard takes it. He's fine. He's doing okay.
I'm agreeing with
criticism.
I'm agreeing with you.
I know you are.
But I'm just saying that I think people are not allowing it to go both ways.
Oh, I agree with that.
Consumers aren't.
And I think that's problematic societally going forward, not just in the NBA.
Yes.
But I don't think, to wrap it up, I don't think that journalists like Howard and others, myself, you, should stop from being critical when we feel like it's need to be critical. So I'm going to agree with Howard. Stop being soft, journalists.
Yes.
Step up. Don't be soft.
And also / you don't need to be a dick.
Yes.
No, you don't have to do that.
Right. And that's an
important clarification.
I'm glad you point that out, Brian. It's I'm not advocating that we all just do like hatchet jobs every day, but
right.
But I mean, anybody who knows my track record knows that's not what I do.
Right.
But I do think that thoughtful criticism is part of covering the league.
Yeah.
It always has been, and it should be. And being a journalist in any area, right? Being a film critic, being a Washington correspondent, covering City Hall, covering anything. The job is to hold people to account and people in power to account. And sports is not the same as the White House, but it is still our job to say, well, why have the Knicks sucked for like 18 of the last 20 years or whatever? Like, and who is responsible? That's holding people accountable. That's part of the job. If you thought that the coach made a flub in the rotation, that's why we stand there to ask the questions. It's holding the coach accountable. Is it because he's accountable to us? No, he's accountable to all the fans that we're writing for the general public, for the people who are paying money to watch these games or to attend the games, to buy the jerseys. The job of being a journalist is to hold people to account. So sometimes that's by the questions we ask. Sometimes it's by the analyses that we write and the criticism that we weigh in with. And I do think that a lot of that has faded a little bit in favor of a softer brand of coverage, or sometimes just more, basketball analytical coverage. I don't mean just analytics like the numbers. I mean analyzing the X's and O's and the whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of content that is just so much more fundamentally about the game itself, not necessarily about okay, what did a team do right or wrong? And it's all out there. I'm not saying there's none of that, but on a day-to-day basis, yes, I think some of that has gotten a little bit softer.
And see, that is the great analysis you can get from somebody who is a true senior NBA writer, to bring it back.